And
you want to go now, or do you want to?
No, y'all have been sitting here in the dark because of me. It's got nothing, you can tell. My hair has been so carefully coiffed. Deborah and I got ready for you early this morning, and I was just sitting watching dumb YouTube uplifting things, uplifting stories, like things that are good that happen to things. Everybody says, I don't know. I was wondering. Well, you're wondering because I normally go at 1, and I think I did. I don't know. But anyway, hello, everyone. Where in my records does it say this woman doesn't know how to read a clock? That's our first question.
We all have days like that,
Unfortunately, I've been having a life like that, but they've been telling me it's because of the shifts in time that okay. I actually wrote someone because I thought I'd missed doing a show with them last year. And they wrote me back and they said, no, you were on and you were marvelous.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, that's a whole show, right? So I'm like,
yeah,
okay, and I'm like, I'm getting to that age where, you forget names and you kind of leave the door and go, why was I going out? But this was not the same thing because that night I was really in my own head, frantic, and I meditated on it. And my guides came in and said, it's because we've been taking you hither and yon so much, and you need to because I'm sort of a little in denial about time shifts and things. And they said, no, you need to understand, and that's why that happened. So
it's been rough for most of the light workers the last few months, and it's getting rougher.
I know. And my microphone is behind. Wait a minute. Let me. Oh, I know what it is.
It looks okay on this side.
Oh no, it's. I can hear an echo. But maybe there. I know. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my phone off because usually it's going through my phone if it's doing that. Okay. Well, now everyone got to see me do. Now I'm still doing it, but everybody got to see me do all of the housekeeping that I normally do. And I'm so sorry, Deborah, because I wanted yours being on here with me to be so spectacular and smooth and wonderful. Well,
that's not the reality we're living in, so it's perfect.
So for those of you who know me, if you showed up here, and for those of you who waited, oh, thank you. The good news I got just before I got on was that I'd gotten 20 new members according to YouTube. And I have no idea where they came from either. So maybe I'm doing shows I don't know anything about.
Yeah. Doing them in your sleep.
Yeah. But I want to introduce anyone in my audience who doesn't already know Deborah. Deborah is a marvelous person who I've known about since last summer because she invited me to be part of fundraising efforts to try and put the correct people into office. And she called me up and said, would you be interested in participating in this? And I have organized political events. And I was like, this lady's crazy. She's going to do 24 hours of this. So I'm going to join so I can watch. And you did a beautiful job. And you did what more of us should do, which is put our time and effort into things that are of value. And I think you do that with your show. Deborah deals with the Akashic Records. And that's that word. Every time I start dealing with your world again, I have to really learn how to spell that word. It's like, it's not innate within me. Would you like to just sort of introduce yourself? I did put a completely updated bio for Deborah in the notes if you want to look at that. And if you would go, Deborah.
Sure. Yeah. So I am officially the voice of the Akashic Records because that's what Archangel Metatron told me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been channeling Metatron for, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years now, something like that. Reading the Akashic Records, exploring the 5th dimension, having a wonderful time, finding about this alternate reality that we all have access to. And one of the books that I channeled with Metatron is the 21-day meditation challenge, where he didn't tell me this at the beginning. He just told me to do it. And when I got to the end, I discovered he had delivered to me in this little book a lesson for everybody on how to learn to channel. So you do this book, and by the time you get to the end of the 21-day challenge, you are listening, you are hearing your angels and guides. And we have a support group for that because it's hard to do it on your own, but it's just amazing. And it's funny because I had been trying for years to teach people to channel, but it's so different for everybody. And I'm like, I don't know how I would even do that. So he just sneaky came in and had me do the challenge, and then bam, there's the book, and now everybody can repeat it. And we just did one in January. And what we discovered as a group is that things were coming out this was round 6 for us that we hadn't gotten before because of the new energies. We are really rapidly accelerating.
Well, every time I'm around a new discipline, now, my first experience with the Akashic Records was almost 4 years ago. And someone said, oh, you need to be read by this guy. And he was very good. It was Akashic Bob. And he came in and he met me at a time when I didn't know it, but the masters were taking me to a place in space at night to tell me to do things and to learn things and to get things. And I was just really accelerating a lot. And the day before he read my Akashic Records, I'd started to have heart arrhythmias.
Oh my gosh.
And so I'd made the appointment to go see the cardiologist, and which you do. I always listen, guys, if you have a physical symptom, don't trust it's the angels. Go have somebody, there may be something they can do to help you. And but I was talking with him, and the first thing he said is, do you have any questions, for me? And I said, yeah, can you backdoor into the Akashic Records? Do you have to train to go in there and see this stuff? Because a lot of what I was hearing about Akashic Records, I realized I was seeing them all the time in my readings, and I was like, well, what's the difference between me reading someone and seeing back in their past and going in a place and meeting a librarian and having, this was my impression of the Akashic Records, opening a book. And I said, could I be backdooring it into the Akashic Records and not know it? I mean, you'd have thought I put a bucket of ice water over the man's head. He was like, no, it takes discipline and all this time. So after we were talking about it, he was trying to help me figure out what was going on, if he could see anything from his perspective about my heart. He gave me the most sheepish look on his face, the sheepish grin, and he said, oh my God, they just told me you are backdooring it into the Akashic Records. They can't keep you out. And you don't care about the protocols and the books and the librarians or any of the other images you have. You just, when you need to know the information, you go boop, and it's there. But he said, that's really peculiar to you. And he said, that's the same thing that's screwing your heart up. And so what they came up with, what he came up with my guides and the other element energies are working in, they put me inside of a shell. So when they want to take my spirit to go talk to them, when they want to move me up there, this shell protects me, and it doesn't allow me to come back completely into my 4D body. Actually, what they did is they gave me a 4D body. But he said, apparently, as you go up through if you go up through the dimensions, your chakras shift. And my heart chakra wasn't moving fast enough back to where it was supposed to be and replacing what was there. That's what was causing the arrhythmias. And the other thing, word of warning I got, and this may not apply to everybody, so this is my deal. If my kids come in the morning and I don't seem responsive, they're to try to talk me into being awake before they touch me, because apparently if they touch me, they could, I don't know, miss the process. So my poor, long-suffering children, I had to sit them down and say, if mom doesn't wake up in the morning, really, really talk to me, and I told them the things to say, and it's never happened that they needed to do that. But I admire that you can flow through those worlds, because whenever I go out there, I'm either too old or too ugly, or my chakras don't move fast enough.
Well, I think you were just ahead of the game because you are an older soul and you've had other experiences. So
yeah,
you're already past that gate that most people are at when they encounter the Akashic Records. Because truly, people are popping in and out of them all the time without even realizing. It's
yeah.
your birthright. It's yours. You have a right.
Well, I mean, I didn't see why they've done that, but I think one person said, "Oh, you got the first Akashic Records library card."
Well, you've had it a long time.
And I've had it for a long time. So, if someone came up to you and said, "My Akashic what?" Can you explain in less than an hour what the Akashic Records really are?
Yeah, well, it's really fascinating. I believe that the internet was inspired by the Akashic Records.
Mm-hmm.
So if we think of Creator as the hub,
Mm-hmm.
we are all satellites of the hub.
Mm-hmm.
And the Akashic Records is in there gathering all the data that we're sending back. So it's like a big library in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it as a literal library. I did when I first went in because that's what I thought it would look like. But truly, it's everywhere, everything. You can go in and you can be in a pastoral setting. You can go in and be in another time. I went in one time and I had tea with the Dalai Lama on top of a mountain. You just never know what experience you're going to have. They will meet you wherever you are and share with you what you are ready to receive.
Well, I think that's really good for people to know, because it's not like some big secret thing. There's no secret sauce to it. I just finished teaching a tarot class. I'm starting another one April 16th or the 19th. The 19th is Saturday, 16th is a Wednesday. There's my commercial. And what I tell people is, I give you basic visual tools that I know were keys that unlocked it for me. And then I learn each class I teach what help open it up for other people. But you bring yourself to whatever discipline you choose to look at the world through. And that's what's most important. And I think it is really important that you could retake your Akashic Records, the 21 day, and each time you're going to do it, it's going to expand. You're going to learn more. And that doesn't mean if you've never done it before, they're going to leave you in the dust. It just means you're all going to work together. And I learned so much more from people who've never picked a deck up in their life and the things they see in the deck, because I've been looking at it so long.
Yeah.
So much stuff you've forgotten.
Seeing with new eyes is
Right.
always wonderful. Yeah.
What if somebody said, why would I want to go know what's in my Akashic Records?
Well, because it's the record of you since you were created. That means however many lifetimes you've had, it's all documented there. If you're having problems in your present life, chances are it's connected to a past life situation. So you can go in, find out what was the trauma you suffered in a past life that is repeating in the present. Once you know that, then you can resolve it and move on, which is really wonderful. Without that information, you would carry it forward lifetime after lifetime, which you've already done. You can find out connections to people in the present who you've had past lives with. And, periodically, if you're connected to the records, they will connect with you. They want to reach out and share information with you. And for me in the beginning, I would just get all of a sudden this flash, because I tend to be visual, and it would be a past life showing me somebody in the present who I was connected to. So it was always purposeful, helping me to connect the dots about who I am. But they will interact with you in whatever way is easy for you. So if you're not visual, you might feel it. You might hear it. You might just know it. But the important thing is connect with them, because it's a vast data bank of everything about you there to help you in your life to accelerate your ascension process.
I heard I think it was on Diary of a CEO, And if you've never watched that show, they're really long. And for people go, oh, God, I don't want to listen to an hour worth of anything. But his stuff's intensely interesting. And he had on a medical expert that's been trying to kind of explain how come we eat so much poisoned food. The food's not poison. I guess the best definition I've heard is if it has a barcode, it's in a box, or the label has words that you don't recognize as food, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Anyway, but they were talking to, I believe it was a woman who said that at Harvard School of Medicine, they now have past life practitioners who are working with people when they really run out. There is nothing wrong with their body. We can't cut out what's ever there. They're working with them in that kind of spiritual space. And they were talking about how much, when you look at what's really out there in alternative medicine, how expansive it is, how they're beginning, big medical places are starting to open up. And they're going to have to, because I know the worst thing I had was I would just stop breathing. I would choke. And it wasn't until we did some psychodrama, which is a kind of energy therapy, and I realized someone had choked me when I was little. And I had no memory of it at all. But once I had the memory, you've been choked, kid. It was fine. And so, I mean, I'm a great believer in a lot of this stuff, but if someone comes to you other than learning how to do the Akashic Records, from what I'm hearing from you, you're basing it on what's important for the individual person. And that's what I like. I like tools we can hand to people they can work with. But can you see world events, or like what's going on with us right now? Can the Akashic Records help you at all with that?
Sometimes the angels will share something with me of a predictive nature, but my work is not mostly predictive. And that's not where I want to go, because my focus really is on helping people with their spiritual growth. But if the angels bring it to me, then I will share it, because it came for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they showed me a couple weeks ago a ship that got blown up.
Mm-hmm.
No context, so I'm not going to share that, because I don't know what that's all about. And then I found out, I think the Russians bombed a ship like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
But in that case, I don't know why they were telling me that, because it wasn't connected to anything. So that's not my normal.
Yeah, it's like,
yeah, like 4 years ago, I got the vision of Trump was Brutus and Putin was Caesar. And they have got this very long karmic history they're trying to work out between them. That explained a lot.
That does. Okay, you just said something that triggered something in my poor little brain. If you're looking at your own records, and if you're maybe trying to guide other people to their records, and you work a lot with angels, right?
Yeah.
And Metatron, the tall guy.
Yeah, mainly Metatron.
Yeah. The only quick trick I know about Metatron, and it's sort of there are angel tricks. There are things you can learn in this world. Someone told me once that Metatron controls time.
Yes.
And so if you want something to go quickly, you can pray to Metatron to help get you through it quickly. And the friend who taught me this, what they used to do is they had a lot of writing they needed to do, and they were like I am, last minute writer. And they'd realize, oh my God, this is 6 hours of writing I have to do in 3 hours. They would pray to Metatron to stretch the time so they could finish their writing. And they claimed it always worked. So after they told me that, I had the same weird time when I was going to the cardiologist. When you spend that day when they attach you to all the machines, and it's 20 minutes on this machine and 30 minutes on that machine, I would get up in the machine and I would just think to Metatron, I'm going to get quiet and meditate and speed the time up. And I remember they told me this one thing was it was on a narrow little table. And I've got a fat butt, so narrow little tables are frightening places. And I was lying there and I thought, this is going to be forever to balance on this funny space. And I was on the table and I was like gone for 5 minutes and I could remember hearing music. And then she said, okay, it's time to done. I said, I'm done. And she said, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I left the room. I was out of the room watching you through the window. And she lost track of time. She said, you got an extra 5 minutes. And I said, I just laid down. And she said, no, you didn't. And I said, did I sleep? And she said, no, you talked to me. So that's a trick with Metatron, guys. And maybe if you try that, then you'll understand Metatron is in this world with us.
Oh, all the time.
Oh, I know.
I'm holding his hand all the time because that's what we need these days. He's my BFF. But yeah, you can ask Metatron for a time warp. If you're running late, you can, hey, Metatron, can you give me a 15-minute time warp? And the time will stretch. It's marvelous.
Well, good.
The other thing that you can do is you can, instead of focusing on not having enough time, which many of us do, mantra, I always have more than enough time. That's tapping into the same energy.
That's, yes.
Stretch it yourself. Just really marvelous.
Yes. I had a friend who drove across the country and I told her she could speed her trip up if she just worked with Metatron every day. And she did it both directions and said, oh my God, did that work? So things we can do, this is that you didn't expect you're going to learn today coming here. If someone comes to Debbra Lupien and said, I want a reading, what do you say? What do you tell them?
Well, it depends on what they're looking for. I like to start people with a soul introduction because once they understand who they are as a soul, what their gift is, what planet they came from, because most of us came from somewhere other than Earth originally, you know, how all of that works together in their soul blueprint, it changes their life dramatically because suddenly you connect all of these dots to who you are. You understand yourself at this deep level. Things that you kind of knew peripherally, but you didn't really know them. When you really know them, you can purposefully use them for your empowerment.
Cool.
Like for you, I know that you like to research.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's wired into your soul.
I know.
Yeah.
Go find the book and see how it works. Here's a question we got. Yay, we're taking questions. Put them in all caps, guys, because otherwise I'll miss them. Is the Akashic why I've always dreamt of my past lives, even as a toddler?
I would say probably, yeah, but let me just ask the question.
Okay.
So for Debbie, is she having past life memories in her dreams? Yes, you are. So if you're not already, Debbie, I would write them down in as much detail as possible, because what you'll find is the angels feed you things piecemeal. And once you start writing them down, then you can connect the pieces. It's like a big puzzle. And suddenly, wow, you zoom out and you get the big picture. There's something they're trying to communicate with you. You're getting it in pieces.
Good. I hope. Knowing Debbie, I think that's very much true. And she is in the middle of doing a lot of connections. And this is another lady who wants to know, I have a hard time letting go of fear. Would that be something to do with my Akashic records?
Probably. There are so many light workers who are here on Earth right now who are scared to death to be their authentic selves because, let's face it, we have been tortured, killed, and exiled in so many past lives. But then we came into this one with the very specific purpose of helping humanity to evolve to Earthtopia, which is where we're going, the next evolutionary level. So it's really scary to do that. And I've been teaching people for years about letting go of the fear, leaning into who you are as a soul, trusting your angels because they've got you 9 ways to Sunday. But then we come into this time where all hell is broken loose and the rules don't apply. And it's like, oh boy, I've been telling people to step out and now look, there really is danger. But that being said, this is our time to stand up against that. This is a huge growth opportunity for us as souls. So together, we help one another to stand against that, not letting the fear get in, because once you do, then you are susceptible to getting pulled into the abyss, and none of us want that. So it's holding those angels' hands, letting them assist you in whatever way you need help. And they will. They remind me all the time when it's time to get the fuel oil filled, because I'm not thinking about that. All of a sudden, its thought will come in. You need to go check the level.
Mm-hmm.
And before my awakening, I would have ignored that. I don't have those kind of thoughts anymore.
Yeah. One of the things that works for me is I'll tell my guides, because these are confusing times. And it's not that I'm ignoring things that are going on, but I don't watch news because I don't trust most of it. And I only read in social media, occasionally. And my guides will say, open up the phone. There's something you need to see. There's a story you need to see. And the one I got yesterday was actually another reader talking about how at the demonstrations, the massive military demonstrations there were this weekend across the country. I keep saying, when am I going to see signs that things are really shifting out there and in the demonstrations? And I think they are. But apparently at the military demonstrations, almost all of them included an area where they all stood and resaid their oath to the Constitution. All these millions of people that were out there doing that. And to me, that was just like, such a sign that that's not being forgotten. And, and so that kind of little fear left my brain.
Well, Metatron has been saying for a couple of years now on a regular basis, there is great hope for the future.
Oh, yeah. And it's got to tear down some of the blindness we've had. And that means the blindness to what you're talking about, to what our past was that got us here. Here's a question for you. How many times have I worked with Merlin?
So Hypnocity, how many times has Hypnocity worked with Merlin? I get a yes that you have. So how many times? Many. They're saying more than a dozen. Less than 2 dozen, more than a dozen. So 18-ish, somewhere in that range.
Oh, good. There you go, kid. Got an answer. Indigo Child would like a message from her guides.
Okay.
About the Akashic Records sending her a message about working with guides.
That you're saying that's what she wants to know.
Yeah. What are there any messages from my guides?
Okay.
So and you're in the right frame of mind, because when people ask me that question, I'm like, they're your guides. They're by you. Talk to them.
They are talking to them. They haven't learned to hear them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is where that 21-day meditation book came in, because it teaches you to hear them. Mm-hmm. So Indigo Child, her team, what would you like to share with her today? I'm hearing a marching song. It's like one of those songs you hear in the summertime with the parades and the bands marching. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. That song, that is this one. Don't know the name of it. So why are we hearing a marching song? What is that about? Oh, you are being called big time, lady, to march with the light workers. Mm-hmm. So can you give us some specifics about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like you've been holding back. You've been a little hesitant, not sure if you really were getting that message, but you are. They're saying now is the time. This is what your soul planned for before you came here, to be a part of this. So in whatever way you feel led, do that. And it doesn't have to be huge. It can be little things. Little things add up to huge things. Mm-hmm. Let us know if that makes sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Okay. Can I get a brief message from the Akashic Masters?
So for Kendra's team, what would you like to share with her today? I'm hearing that nursery rhyme about what are little boys made of in puppy dogs' tails. Mm-hmm. Why that? Can you give us some more detail about that? I don't know. Maybe she has little boys. Something about little boys, though, that's important. So what else? Patience. You're being called on to Yeah. You're having a need for more patience right now. So that's the big thing they're wanting to convey to you. And they're saying, sometimes you think that, oh, I'm just not a patient person. I can't do that. Well, the truth is you can. Deep breathing, a little more meditation, calm down. You can do it. And when you get to that place where you're like, I just can't take this anymore, stop for 2 minutes. Take a couple of deep breaths. Reach out your hand and close your eyes. Visualize your angel holding your hand and just feel that energy flowing through your body, all the way through, filling you up with vital force energy that will help you to relax as you keep breathing. You can reset your energy body in just those couple of minutes, and that will help you to be more patient. So whenever you feel yourself teetering on that edge, stop and do that little exercise. Doesn't matter how many times. You can do it as often as you need to. It will help.
Good. Okay, we're going to hide her, and we got questions finally. Okay. When will I get a job or a contract? Is that an Akashic Records sort of question that you can ask?
People ask me stuff like that all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm asking for Madhu.
So Madhu. Job or contract? Is there anything in the near future? Not in the near term. So in 2025, let's start there. Yes, in 2025. So the first half of the year, okay. Will it be before April? So we're talking second quarter. So April, May. All right. And are we talking to like the first half of May? Something about May 10th, Madhu. So approximately, times can shift because timelines do. But right now the energy is focused on May 10th. So I don't know if there's something special about that date for you. But it was very specific, and that's not normal.
Oh, okay. Good. I've been going through this with her for a while, so it's...
Yeah, they don't normally give a specific date like that. So if they do, that's really important.
Okay. This is Singing Tree. Does the Red Eagle have any advice for me?
Oh, beautiful. So for Singing Tree, does Red Eagle have advice for her? I'm seeing you perched on the branch beside the eagle and you're singing. So there's a song, it could be metaphorical rather than literal, but a song that's wanting to come forth from your soul, something you have been repressing that is ready to come out. And it could be that fear is holding you back. The eagle is sitting there on that branch of the tree with you to give you the strength and the courage to just do it already. It needs to come out. You can suppress it. You can try to suppress it, but it's going to just be bubbling inside of you until you take the time, address it, and let it come out. And then you will feel so much better.
Good. I have, in a past life, I've been, I was a lot of Celtic stuff. And, I want to show this one. I'm so glad to see you're with us, Gigi. I know I've been missing you. Gigi's been fighting some stuff. So thank you for showing up. I'm glad we were here. You have no idea. Everybody can thank Dr. Gail because we're here, because she called me and said, get on the machine. Okay, Carl. Hi, Miss Nancy and Deborah. I hear from my guides, especially from Woody. He wants a message from Woody. Apparently, they're not speaking clearly.
Okay. So for Carl, Woody, do you have anything you want to share with him today? So I'm hearing, oh God, I'm hearing that old song, I want to be loved by you. Boop, boop, boop. I don't know if that means something special to you, Carl, but I'm hearing that song. So Betty Boop. All right. Anything else for Carl from Woody? He wants you to lighten up, pal. You're just too serious. You need to go skipping down the sidewalk with the grandkids, or go play on the playground. Get on that merry-go-round, and if you don't have dizzy problems like Nancy and I do, go spin on the merry-go-round. Get out in nature. You need to have more joy in your life. You need to have that, like riding in a convertible and the air is just all around you, blowing your hair, and you're in that space of just bliss. You need more of that right now. It will help you.
Yes. Carl's questions are always so serious. And I said, why don't you ask me about something nice? Something that's fun and playful and not a job thing. Ugh.
Yeah, and that's why Betty Boop, I guess, because it's the same energy.
Yeah. And she certainly would be hard to look at her and take all that much seriously.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we answered this earlier, Jen? But yes, it's possible to have accessed the Akashic records without knowing it. I was doing it for years. Except my question was I like kicking in the back door, sneaking in through the basement? But however you get there, whatever works.
And you can just ask. You could say, can I access my Akashic records? They're yours. You have the right to do that.
Mm-hmm. She felt like she did it when she was younger. Jen's coming back out of herself and learning more about how to deal with the spiritual world as an adult, which is good. I'm glad to see you trying that. Okay. Oh, Jen Miranda just became a new member.
Awesome.
Oh, okay. No, if you put a question in on the posts, because I thought I wasn't going till 1 o'clock, I did not get the question off the posts. When I post my thing on YouTube, I always say, if you have a specific question, if you type it in. So, and Debbie, we already answered one of your questions. I presume that was the one. Okay, let's see. I'm looking at the comments. Okay. Oh, this is a most beautiful name, Flower Beauty Peacock Rainbow. And can I have someone from the spirit team for the Akashic Records reading, please?
Yes, absolutely. So Flower Beauty Peacock Rainbow. What would you like to share with her today? I'm getting this big expanse, like a ballroom or something. It's this really big space, and there are marble columns. So what is that about? It's like a spiritual excursion for you. So I don't know if there's a place you've been thinking about going that's got a spiritual aspect to it, but that's kind of what it feels like. So anything else you can tell us? You're crying. You're in this space and you're kneeling and you're crying. So what is that? It's a release for you. It's a space you can go and just let all of that stuff out that's been bottled up inside. It's not doing you any good staying inside. You got to let it out. So go to that space, and it could be a metaphorical space that you go to in your meditation rather than a literal space. So allow that possibility. But you need to go and get that stuff off of your chest. Release it all. Then you stop and you take some deep breaths, do some self-care. And then I want you to take the angel's hands with both of your hands. Lean on their strength. Let them help you as you step out of that place of sorrow. They're saying sorrow. Back into the sunlight. You've been in the darkness too long. So I hope that makes sense.
I had a feeling that she's letting a lot of things go. And she's grieving over the loss of those particular things. Carl, we know you need to earn a living, but you still need to lighten up, because you're going to find the best things that happen around you. And the easiest way things slide in is when we're being open and not being, I got to make money off every move I make. But hello, I awoke hearing a male voice saying, explain. Who was that? And what was that about?
That's funny. So for Linda, what was the male voice about? Explain. Can you tell us what that's all about? It was just a fragment of a dream. So is there anything meaningful for her in that? No. It's one of those things that it's not to be taken literal. It was just a fragment. But is there something you want her to know? Yeah, it's for you also. It's lighten up. Don't take life so seriously. You need to incorporate more joy.
Mm-hmm.
There's way too much. It's very heavy energy. You want to lighten that up. Get outside in nature, especially
Mm-hmm.
now that if you're in the, upper part of the world and you're experiencing spring, get out there in the fresh air and smell the flowers. Allow yourself to connect with nature because that will be very nourishing to your soul. So you need more of that. And, it doesn't have to be great amounts of time. It can be 10 minutes, but your soul is asking you for more of that, the connection to Gaia and to the beauty, just seeing it, allowing it, and feeling it. Get out of that
And
heavy energy.
we start our astrologic new year tomorrow. It's on the solstice, and it is, and in the where I live, it's like 4 in the morning. So I'm in the Central Daylight Time. Okay, so think about that, guys. It's shift tomorrow. That's our New Year's. I keep getting a vision of dark sideways rectangles surrounded by purple violet flames. Is this just a strange portal?
Got me. Let's ask. So for Debbie, the dark sideways rectangle with purple violet flames. Is she seeing a portal? No, not a portal. So what is it? It's a beckoning call, Debbie. They're beckoning you to the sacred space. So I don't know if you intentionally go into your records or not, but you're being invited to do that. So yeah, the purple and the flames, that's like your version of the entrance to the records. So they're inviting you to come, and the flames will allow you to pass through. They'll either move or you'll just go through them unharmed. But yeah, so it's that, and it's meaningful for you right now. What else? Yeah, they're saying, come on in, baby, and sit a while. We got some things to talk about. So they want you to lighten up too and
Mm-hmm.
allow that because the records can be very funny. They can be sarcastic. They can be whatever it is you need. They will meet you where you are.
And they're trying to push us to where we kind of need to go. I mean, they're offering us the opportunity to change and to see where we've been so we don't go there again.
Well, and it's also the support during these uncertain times.
Oh, yeah.
You need that now more than ever.
May I have messages from my guides, Rossi,
Okay.
Galactic Healing Team?
So for Rossi, Galactic Healing Team, do you have anything you want to share? I'm hearing the theme song from Rawhide. I don't know if you remember that or not. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't, go Google it. So, head them up, get them out, Rawhide, right? It's action, Rossi. There's action you need to be taking. You've been hesitating. Now is not the time to hesitate. You need to move forward with confidence and certainty. The angels will be by your side. That will carry you through so that you can accomplish whatever it is that is sitting there waiting to be done. But yeah, don't let it sit. You got to take action now.
Yep. Okay. Get you in the right space. Is there a message from the Akashic for me at this time? Arlene Renee.
Okay. So, Arlene Renee, what would you like to share with her today? Bees, something about bees and flowers and pollination. So, are you saying she's a beekeeper? No. Should she be? You might consider that, Arlene. It's like you're being called to commune, not just keeping, but communing with the bees. And is that more of nature or specifically bees? Specifically bees. Okay. Was she a beekeeper in a past life? Apparently you were. I don't know if you've had any draw towards bees, but it's a very specific message.
That's a specific message.
Yeah, look at that.
Okay. And Sharon Sipe, our ever present, wonderful monitor, would like a message from her guides. So
Wonderful. Thank you for asking, Sharon.
thank you, Sharon.
Yeah. So, what would you like to share with Sharon today? Oh, you need to get away from that computer, baby, and get some fresh air. Your
Mhm.
body, your soul is crying out for doing more things that bring you joy. You're always giving, giving, giving. You need to
Mhm.
give to yourself. Your soul is crying out for some extra love and attention right now. And don't think that by doing that it's selfish or that you're taking away from other things you love to do. You've got to take care of you so that you will be available, because right now you are getting ready for an up level and you're going to be called to do more spiritually. So you've got to take that time for the self-care now and continue doing it, of course. But you're going to need that to help you get through this transition, because something big is happening for you. There's a shifting in your energy field. So the door is opening. You're being invited to step up and do more. You have to answer the call, but you're being invited.
Yes, and sharing all the love and light. And if you have to give up your wrench for a while, we'll survive. We really will. And but if sitting listening to us helps you figure out what to go next, I'm all for it. But Sharon is just a wonder for those who don't understand what all she does. What's next for me?
Okay, so for Rosa V, what's coming up for Rosa V? We've got a theme going on here because they're showing me that you are working too much. And it's like you're sitting at this table piled with books and you're diligently working, 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 but there's no joy. And life has to be balanced with joy. That energy allows you to be inspired, to get the call from the angels. When you're constantly working, your head is down and you're just, toiling. You're not living your life. You did not come here to toil. You came here to live exuberantly with gusto. So, in whatever way you can, start incorporating just small amounts of joy and playfulness. Check in with your inner child. You need to get back to that energy, incorporating a little bit at least in every day. More would be better, but start with a small amount. That will change your life because you're shut down right now. You're just too focused on the work.
Yeah, and Rosa, if you really are bent over your work, you are disrupting your from your throat to your crown chakra because you're not keeping your body straight. And if it just mean it may mean literally every time you feel like you've been bent over something, take a couple minutes and stretch your neck backwards, put it to the right and the left. Take the time to do that. Okay. Deborah. Oh, she thinks crawling through the rectangle would be funny. So
Yeah, but you don't have to crawl through it. You could ask the angels to glide you through it or take you over it. Anything. Use your imagination and go through
what's
it.
on the other side?
Feels playful.
This is a question. I keep hearing, "Are you listening?" Who is asking?
Great question. So for Kristen Storms, who is it asking her if she's listening? I'm hearing that song Angel Baby. So it's your angels who are whispering to you, your team. It's not one specific, but they call you as a choir. They're saying a choir. And they're beckoning you to connect with them, to do more. Yeah. But until you start hearing them and then taking action, it's hard for them to help you. So when you get those random thoughts that just pop in out of nowhere and it has nothing to do with what you were thinking about, know that is your angels communicating with you. Take action on what you got and start doing that regularly. That opens the channel to get more communication from them.
Oh, and someone's having a sentimental return of an old guide who's back, showing so much love. What other messages is he trying to tell me other than I'm loved and safe?
So for Marissa,
Mm-hmm.
what are you trying to tell her? Trying to lay a solid foundation for you, Marissa, so that you can get out there and do the soul work that you came here to do. because the first thing is to have that strong foundation so that you feel confident that you can do this, that you will be safe. And just know they're wrapping you in a cocoon. They'd put you in bubble wrap if they could to keep you safe and loved. They want you to feel that warmth, that care that they're giving you. So they'll be holding your hands as you move forward. But whatever it is that you've been feeling called to do, get out there and do it. Stop waiting. The time is now.
That's why they came back. So remember me? Remember we're doing in this direction? Okay, that's sort of the end of our comments for the moment. I think for me, this 9 Candles will return April 24th, and it will run through May 2nd. And I'm beginning. 9 Candles is a thing I do, and it takes a while for it to build. But I went to an astrologer I trust, Dorothy Morgan, and said, I need an electional date for this stuff. And so she gave me the 2 electional dates for my tarot classes. But the 9 Candles, it's going to be, we're on a new trail. And that's what so it's so new. The 9 Candles can be any color you want. They can be little ones. They can be big ones. If you're following along and you light at home, do what's ever most meaningful for you. And when would your next 21-day thing be?
Oh, it's ongoing. There's a private Facebook group where people share.
Oh,
we do it as a group every January, and it's more powerful as a group. But
right.
I don't wait. You need that now. You want to connect and hear your angels.
Okay.
But in the book, which you can get on Amazon, there's a link for the Facebook group. So just friend me on Facebook and let me know you want to go into the group, and we will support you there, because doing it with that support gets you there faster.
Yeah, well, it helps when you share your ideas, because as you can see, people are questioning, did I really hear that?
Yeah.
Well, having one other person say, yeah, you really heard that, can help move you just enormously.
And hearing the experiences other people have had.
Right.
That makes a big difference, because, we're not in a vacuum. We're all here having very similar experiences.
That's true. And we need to be reaching out to find new experiences in a way, or reassessing the old ones. But it always helps to have another voice to listen to. And you can't always get here during the meetings, during the shows, and you can't always get into chat. And some people are driving their cars. And please don't type something in chat while you're driving your car. We don't need that.
No, pull over.
Pull over, stop, or learn how to use that thing where it translates into speech. I never have very good luck with that, where you click it and it turns. Yeah. I always end up with weird messages that make no sense. But also, in answer to the bee lady, I wear a cap with a bee on it.
Well, the bees are calling you, so it might be something to look into.
Yeah, you already got attracted to get a hat with a bee on it. So,
and what a sacred thing that is right now. If you were to connect with the bees, maybe they want to talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And you nurture them and help them.
Yep. They're like little fairies with wings that come back and give you honey. I don't know where you live, Arlene, but in Dallas, there's an incredible group of amateur beekeepers that distribute the honey out to people. It's a really interesting group. And I met one of the guys that started it, used to volunteer for me in politics. And it's a fascinating study. I don't live where, I really don't have a space where I could put a hive and feel like it was safe for itself. But do you have anything else you want to say in closing? I know your thing starts in January, will be the next round. How people can get in touch with you?
Well, sure. They can go to my YouTube channel. I do on the first Monday of the month at 9:00 Eastern. I do a metaphysical chat live. I have a third Saturday, which we just had last Saturday, Ask Your Guides, where people come on Zoom with me so I can answer their questions and see them, which is really lovely, because then we can do the back and forth if there's
right.
Yeah, so that's great. And, we've got the Facebook group. So, yeah, there's stuff going on all the time. And there's a
Well,
big, heavy message on the YouTube channel about the shift.
mhm.
That's really interesting. They might enjoy.
Yes. I watched her last few shows. I kind of try to catch up with where people are. She does a lot of work with Metatron. I think he's a fascinating angel. And I just think you're a fascinating lady, and thank you for all the work you do.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay, everybody. Sorry I was late. Blame me, but we'll talk later.
We had fun anyway.
Next time I have you on, Deborah, I will make sure I'm here on time and at the right time. Bye.